I was strongly considering divorce. I have an amazing husband.
All of my friends who have kids are in hell.
I asked him about like Black Lives Matter, and so today I can't.
Who did you vote for?
Trump.
I'm a very liberal woman. Let me see if he's learned anything from me.
Hey guys, today we're talking about some viral videos that are causing a lot of chaos online, definitely not helping out the gender war. So we're going to be taking a look at that. But before we start, make sure you are subscribed, hit the notification bell. Let's start with this first one where this woman discusses why she almost divorced her husband. A lot of people are upset.
I've been with my husband for almost 20 years, but about 3 years ago, I was strongly considering divorce, and I want to talk to you about why. So I'm going to tell you the story of the day where I thought to myself, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. My husband and I had 4 kids. We both worked full time. We had been together for 16 years at this point. We've been together since high school. And on paper, I have an amazing husband. He is incredibly supportive. He's kind. He's loyal. He's a great dad. He's very hands-on. He's an active participant. He's always present. Like on paper, what else could I ask for? But I was incredibly frustrated and burnt out from our marriage and from motherhood. Women tend to carry a disproportionate amount of the work in the home, the work of raising kids, and the mental load. I remember looking at my husband and saying, I need more. And he looked at me and he said, okay, just tell me what to do. Right? Every woman has heard this. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. The dishes were put away and the trash was taken out. That would make my life so much easier. And he said, yeah, of course. What? Yeah, I'll do that. That's no problem. He does it. But then I have to remind him, and then he forgets. And there was this one morning where I woke up. I went to put something in the trash, and it was overflowing. And I felt so disrespected and unseen and unvalued at that point in time. And I remember texting my husband being like, why didn't you do this? And he said, sorry, I was running late for work. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he doesn't see me. Because what he's done has now made me late.
First of all, I find this all deeply personal. Right? If your marriage almost ended, I feel like first, obviously you would communicate with each other, not the entire internet, without a chance to respond. We don't get to hear his perspective. And even with everything she said, that he was perfect on paper, right? Loyal, kind, emotionally present with the kids, she still almost divorced him because he did not take out the trash when he was running late for work.
And I felt so frustrated. And I remember thinking, what's the point? What's the point of doing this with someone else? I might as well just do it alone. And it's not because my husband didn't love me or he did anything to me, and it's not because I didn't love him, but because I felt so taken advantage of in our relationship. And this dynamic, we've been raised in this society that tells men and women who they should be in marriages, and we know the bar for moms is way up here and the bar for dads is way down here. In most homes, the data supports this. Women do a disproportionate amount of the work. They just do. They do more of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the childcare while also working full time. And men have more time for things like their hobbies, like golf, for example, or just working out, running a marathon.
Men tend to work more, right? There are more stay-at-home moms than there are stay-at-home dads. That doesn't mean that stay-at-home dads don't exist. It doesn't mean that you can't try and delegate your house chores in a more equitable manner, but that's more common.
So we did the work to figure out what equity looked like in our relationship. And I can tell you now, 3 years later, that we are happier than ever. Our kids are thriving. Our home runs like a well-oiled machine. And that took a lot of work. I want to say it took like 18 months to get there. And it was well worth it.
You guys are both working full-time, correct? She's saying that she was burned out, right? Overwhelmed. She's cooking, she's cleaning, but then she also has a job. I do get why this video is so viral because it taps into something that so many modern couples are dealing with. Women are told, work on your career, then if you want to get married, if you want to have kids, then you can do that. Okay, so then once you have this job and then you have kids, you're still expected to be the chef, the cleaner, the scheduler. So yeah, I totally understand how that sort of situation can be extremely exhausting. However, you chose to have a full-time job. Your husband is also working. The solution is not necessarily, oh, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to have like a 1950 setup. No, I mean, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. But what most couples nowadays do is that they kind of divide the workload at home so that it's not so overwhelming for one person. You could have been like, hey, could you take out the trash next time? Yeah, I don't understand why divorce would even be going through your mind if he's perfect. You're literally describing him as a perfect guy. Another viral video right now is this Chappell Roan clip where she's on Call Her Daddy, that amazing podcast that Kamala was on, if you can remember.
All of my friends who have kids are in hell. I don't know anyone. I actually don't know anyone who's like happy and has children at this age. I have like a 1-year-old, like 3-year-old, 4 and under, 5 and under. I literally have not met anyone who's happy, anyone who has like light in their eyes, anyone who has slept.
Okay, so here is her personal perspective. She says she doesn't have any friends that are happy with kids. She doesn't see the light in their eyes, navigating the early stages of parenthood. And I get why so many moms felt defensive because, you know, that's Quite the statement. Motherhood can be very complicated, right? For some, it is the most profound, the most purposeful chapter in their life. And for others, it can just be overwhelming, isolating, especially if they do it out of pressure or under the wrong circumstances, right? But again, for many, it brings joy, meaning, identity. Both things can be true. Depends on the woman. I don't think Chapel here is saying that all children ruin lives. That's how so many people were reacting to it. How dare she say this? Guys, this is her experience, okay? She's talking about the people she knows. Another question that really should be on your mind if you are thinking about being a mother is, can you give this child a safe, loving environment? A lot of people become parents just because they feel like they have to when they can't even take care of themselves, and then the children struggle. It's not like, oh, let me just get a little doll, a cute little accessory. No, that's a kid. That's a human being. You have to really think about that. But yeah, no, this clip, I don't know. I think it's a bit of an overreaction. She did not say that kids are evil or that there are no happy mothers. She just doesn't know any. Her experience is going to be very different from the average woman. Chappell Roan is a famous singer, lesbian, like pop star who hangs out with drag queens. Her relationship to traditional milestones like marriage, like parenthood are going to be different, and fulfillment looks different for different people. So let's move on. Megyn Kelly also said this. I want to play this because I agree with her.
How did we get to the point where we're now telling young, conservative, amazing women that they're not attractive if they also work? If they choose to, let's say, do what I'm doing, get their voice out there. Well, why wouldn't we want that? Why would we take somebody who's talented in this field and really wants to make a difference and have the messaging to her be, you're really not that valuable unless you give it up and go into the home and only have a family and only raise a family. And not only are we sending her that message, but young men are actually believing that. They're actually believing it, especially on the right, because like the trad mom has gotten so popular. And it's like, no, if we do that, we're not going to have any strong conservative or right-leaning women to provide a role model for younger conservative women who don't necessarily want to spend all their 20s and their 30s getting married and having kids, or can't. They just weren't able to meet somebody, and definitely don't need to be shamed over it.
Not only that, you're going to take the more moderate women and they're going to go to the left because they're going to hear that from some people on the right, of course, not all, but some. Oh, you have to get back in the kitchen. You can't work, whatever. They're going to be like, yeah, okay, that. I don't want to be anywhere near that because, you know, a lot of them will feel pressured into doing something that they may not want to do. And that is not the outcome that we need. Okay, we need more balanced individuals, men and women. And so this is just so stupid. It's just so exhausting to hear from people who have such a black and white way of thinking. And the idea that someone is not marriage material, a woman is not marriage material because she's not making sourdough bread by 3 p.m. We know this. The pendulum always swings from one extreme to another. But every time, it's just so disappointing. Like, it's totally possible to want to have that career and also get married and have kids. You just have to keep timing in mind. But if you do want to push women towards the more toxic side of feminism that demonizes all men, tells women that they don't need men, and men that they don't need women, that rejects masculinity, that mocks femininity, again, that treats men like the enemy, if you want that, then yeah, totally. Shame women for having a voice, for wanting to find meaning outside of the home. But I don't see how that's helpful to anyone.
Story time on how politics ruined my last relationship. So let me set the scene for you. I was dating this guy. We've been dating for 5 months. And in those 5 months, I was told by my friends, Zoe, he lives in Indiana. He's a f***ing Republican. I was like, politics don't matter to me. What was I wrong? And so I was like, it's fine. I don't care. I'm going to get to know him first. We'll decide later. So then we kind of start talking about it. I'm a very liberal woman. So I am obviously like very much, everyone knows that I'm a liberal woman. My brother's gay, all my friends are gay,
all my friends are gay.
Female rights, But anyways, so I would like always ask him, I'd be like, what's your politics? Like, where do you lean? And he was just like, well, like socially, I'm a liberal, but economically, I'm a Republican. That, okay.
Why wouldn't you just tell him? Why waste your time? Why waste his time? I really don't understand. Just say, hey, yeah, no, sorry. Politics are very important to me.
That's the first red flag, because if there's a 28-year-old man and he's single, there's a reason that he's single. Let me see if he's learned anything from me. And I asked him point blank on election day, I'm like, so who would you have voted for if you would have voted in this election? He was like, I would have voted independent. Do you know that how harmful, wasteful that is? And also, like, check your privilege by saying you're going to vote independently. I fully respect Republicans. I understand that you want to vote that way, but for me, I don't want to marry you and I don't want to date you. So
That was so exhausting. And it makes sense, by the way, marriage life can be complicated. Having shared values, that can help. I totally understand that. But be upfront about it. Communicate. No, she wanted to secretly convert him to her ideology. Love is blind clip.
I love you so much. But I've always wanted a partner to be on the same wavelength. And so today I can't.
Okay, first of all, why is she telling him this at the altar? I've never watched the show, so maybe this is how they do it, but this is so crazy.
I love you and everything about you is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I care about you so much.
I care about you too. And I love you so much. And I know I want to stay with you and keep growing our relationship if you'll let me.
We'll see. We'll talk about that.
Why is he trying to make this work even after this train wreck that she caused? Why?
Okay. I love you.
I love you so much.
I know that the connection we have is so real. And my heart is there, but we talked about a lot of the values that I hold so close to my heart. Making this decision, my mind is telling me I can't.
Okay, again, it's totally fine to want to agree on these issues, but this is something you would mention before you put on a wedding dress.
I love you. We love you. It was a lot, but we're rolling with it. I just want to talk to her. Yeah.
Why?
Like I asked him about like Black Lives Matter, and I'm no expert. But like when I asked him about it, he was like, I guess I never really thought too much about it. That affected me, especially in our own city. Like how could it not? How did it not make you think about something?
She wasn't even honest from the beginning, right? Wouldn't you have to talk about your values before? That's why, it's really not just about chemistry. You have to have these kind of conversations about your worldview, what you want in the future, all these things, and then decide if this is someone you want to build a life with before you walk down the aisle. I don't really get what's happening though. Is this how the show works?
I asked him too, like what his church's views are, and he said he didn't know. And
why did he say he didn't know though, if he's attending the church?
so then I watched a sermon online
From his church.
about, sexual identity.
Okay.
And it was traditional.
It was traditional? The church? What did you expect?
It doesn't really have much to say about it, I want them to think about that stuff. Sometimes I did wonder if it was
I love the slippers and wedding dress.
surface, fun, carefree love that we had. Equality, religion, the vaccine.
Well, first of all, Lisa, do you consent to a second date?
Do I have a last question that I can ask?
Sure.
Okay, plot twist.
Let's go for it.
It's like bonus rounds.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for the Trump candidate. But with that comes a lot of things, like a cabinet that has...
Why is everyone screaming?
A cabinet! I can't!
Can you take a deep breath? You asked, he answered. There's no maturity here. Like, why are you screaming?
Heart is broken. I enjoyed my evening with you, but I have to stick to my morals and my principles and democracy.
What a plot twist.
The crowd.
If you voted for Trump, say it with your chest. Same if you voted for Kamala. I don't understand why you would be so ashamed of that. I'm not saying you have to randomly announce that or talk about that all the time, but you probably were expecting this question. This is a dating show. These are important questions usually for people. Because if you need to downplay your beliefs to make the other person comfortable, that relationship will not last. No.
Lisa, thank you so much.
So
Look
welcome.
Listen, everyone's got to stick to what they believe in.
Whoa. Plot twist.
Eric, are you surprised with how this went?
Not really.
No, were you expecting something like this?
I kind of seem like they were all on the other side.
Yeah, so for these long-term relationships, you can't go based on vibes alone, right? Communication is important, emotional intelligence, not TikTok therapy sessions, or throwing tantrums every time politics come up with a potential partner. These are things you'd want to know about them. But yeah, just a lot of overreactions today, a lot of black and white thinking from both the audience and the people in the videos. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Also remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Share the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.